Over a year ago, I played Still Wakes Deep on this channel and finished it, as well as Platinum in it. But I played through it on PC Game Pass, and Microsoft doesn't do Platinum trophies for some odd reason. So I just got all the achievements and called it a day. A year later though, the Chinese room did a sneaky and were working on a DLC the whole time and dropped it exactly a year after called Sirens Rest. So I bought the game and the DLC on PlayStation and got to work on beating the full game again. Trying to see if I could platinum it in one sitting using prior knowledge and not looking anything up to refresh my memory. Since the addition of the Sirens Rest DLC, Still Wakes Deep now has a total of 60 trophies to earn, including the Platinum trophy. Let's see how good my memory is. Because I had already played through the base game before, I changed the language to Scottish Gaelic for this trophy. Not even gonna bother trying to pronounce that. But anyway, on to the first trophy, Enquiries, where you get awarded for spending too much time in the shower room. I don't know why we're being made to watch someone shower, but screw it, free trophy. Oh, that was fucking quick. 10 seconds, I must have adjusted the trophy. All Beans and Forgiveness is the first story related trophy where you head down to the canteen and talk to Roy. All Beans and Forgiveness. Head down to the canteen and talk to Roy. The next trophy, Social Butterfly, requires you to be social and talk to everyone in the intro. Fine, if I have to. Woohoo, Social Butterfly. Talk to everyone in the intro. But the next story related trophy, the Sickening of the Calm, you get for surviving the event. What event, you may ask? Well, from talking to Roper in the intro, he mentions there's a problem with the drill, that it hit something and now it won't operate. Rennick doesn't care that it's broken and wants them to continue drilling. He also fires Kaz since he found out about his charges on the mainland, so he heads to the helipad to leave when an air pocket seems to explode. Whoa, the Sickening of the Calm. Survive the event. Cerebral Anoxia is the next trophy we earn, and for that we need to drown inside the rig. I took the opportunity for this during the first encounter with the monster and drowned trying to get away. There we go. Cerebral Anoxia. Drowned inside the rig. Let's go, baby. Another story related trophy, Breathe In, Breathe Out, Repeat, we get for escaping engineering after escaping the monster. Breathe in, breathe out, repeat. Escape from engineering. Woohoo! The next trophy, Sailing By, has us standing in front of the radio listening to the whole shipping forecast. It's so unnecessarily long and it feels like a troll by the devs, but it's done. There we go, Sailing By. Listen to the whole shipping forecast. Finally. Home by Christmas is the next story related trophy for launching the lifeboat. Yeah, it got launched alright. Home by Christmas. Launch the lifeboat. The next trophy is a fiery one. Fahrenheit 0451, where you need to put out a fire using a fire extinguisher. Fahrenheit 0451, put out a fire with an extinguisher. Our first throwable related trophy is upon us. General Strike. For this, you need to hit a monster with a throwable. The first opportunity to do this is during your first encounter with Trots after he turns. There's throwables everywhere and I picked one up and bonked his ass. General Strike. Hit a monster with a throwable. Eye of the Needle is another story related trophy where we simply got back to Roy in the canteen. Poor fella needs his insulin. Eye of the Needle. Go back to Roy in the canteen. Okay. The next throwable related trophy is Jet Sam, where we need to throw a throwable into the sea. Probably the only opportunity to do this in the game is when Rennick is giving evacuation orders and is telling everyone to make their way to the helipad, and on the way there, there's a throwable that can be picked up and I yeeted that bitch into the sea. Bye. Jet Sam! Throw a throwable into the sea, let's go! The next story related trophy, Everything Breaks, we get for watching the helicopter crash. Everything breaks. Watch the helicopter crash. I Am the King is another story related trophy which we get for escaping from Rennick. I'm the king now. I am the king. Escape from Rennick. Look at all this mess. Yeah, it would be messy when you gotta throw shit everywhere. Anyway, for this trophy, we need to pick up and throw 50 different throwables. 50, look at all this mess. Pick up and throw 50 different throwables. Woohoo! Compression ignition is the next trophy part of the story, which we get for restarting the generator. Compression ignition. Restarted the generator. Following that is Into the Belly of the Beast, which is another story related trophy, earned for completing engineering. Into the Belly of the Beast. Completed engineering. Woohoo! The next trophy, Greek Scotsman, has us sprinting through all modes and traversals. My game bugged right after the trophy popped, which was great fun. Greek Scotsman. Sprinting all movement modes and traversals. I'm stuck. I'm legit stuck. And now we're back to the story with the next trophy, Surfacing, which we get for escaping the pontoons. I forgot about this trophy and was actually AFK when this popped like a true gamer. The trophy Full Fathom 5 you get for dying from falling into the sea 5 different times. Second. Full Fathom 5. Died from falling into the sea 5 times in different places. Fuck yeah. Beacon in the Dark is another story related trophy where Kaz meets Brody and he says the flare stack needs to be relit. So getting past Adair and getting chased by him relights the flare stack, killing Adair in the process. Beacon in the Dark. Relit the flare. The next story related trophy, Treading Water, you get for escaping flooded engineering. Yes, Kaz has to go back into engineering again, but this time it's flooded with oil. Fun. Treading Water, escape from flooded engineering. Snoop is the next trophy we need, and you get this by visiting every enterable cabin in the game. Snoop. Visit every enterable cabin in the game. It's just me and my spoon with his next trophy, where you need to find Roy's spoon as you enter his cabin after the sinking. Me and my spoon, find Roy's spoon after the sinking. Beaufort 11 is the next story related trophy where Kaz makes it to the roof of accommodation. Beaufort 11 made it to roof of accommodation. Shortly after, the next trophy is Leviathan, which we get for rebalancing the BRD. Leviathan, rebalance the BRD. The next trophy, Clear Down, where we have to listen to every optional phone call, meant we needed to have good ears, because it's easily missed if you don't pay attention. Clear Down, listen to every optional phone call. The Drowning of Davy Rennick is another story trophy, where, you probably guessed it, we get for defeating Rennick. You won't be missed, mate. The Drowning of Davy Rennick. Defeated Rennick. Body Count is the next trophy, which is to find every dead crew member that we can reach. There we go, Body Count. Find every reachable dead crew member. The Horror Sings is one of the final story related trophies in the base game, where Kaz enters the derrick and blows the oil rig up, and whatever the monstrosity was that was on the rig as well. The Horror Sings. Enters the derrick. After completing the game, we earn 3 post-story trophies. Walking Simulator, for completing the game without sprinting for more than 10 minutes total. Whatever this trophy is for completing the game in Scottish Gaelic. And Still Wakes the Deep, for completing the game. Seems like I was a bit rusty, was still missing 4 trophies. Leaning Into It is the first trophy I cleaned up, where you need to spot a monster while landing. The best opportunity for this is your first encounter with Trots after his turn, where you're not spotted straight away. There we go. Leaning Into It, spot a monster while leaning. The next cleanup trophy was Finlay Destination, which we get for dying in all possible ways. There we go, Finlay Destination. Die in all possible ways. And the final 2 cleanup trophies were Good with the Lecky, for using all the electrical interaction types on the oil rig. Oh, there we go, Good with the Lecky. Used all electrical interaction types on the BRD. And Not So Good with the Lecky, for dying in all electrical hazards on the oil rig. Yes, Not So Good with the Lecky. Die in all electrical hazards on the BRD. With those trophies completed, it was finally time to move on to the Sirens Rest DLC, which is set 10 years after the BRD incident. The first trophy to kick off this DLC is Dordrecht, which we get for finding our first memento linked to the BRD crew. Dordrecht. Found your first memento linked to the BRD crew. Following that is the trophy core, which we get for finding our first set of human remains from the BRD crew. Yeah, oh my god, core. Found your first set of human remains from the BRD crew. Tiny Sith, I apologize if I butchered that, is the next story related trophy. And we get that for following the flickering flare down to the bottommost layer. Tiny Sith. Follow the flickering flare down to the bottommost layer. A clutch is the next trophy we get. The description for it says, permitted your current consciousness to join a greater whole. They were fancy with the trophy descriptions for the DLC for some reason. But basically it means, die motherfucker, die. A clutch, what's this? Permitted your current consciousness to join a greater whole. You know what that is. Diving lesson being the next story related trophy, which we get for finding a very special room and remembering a very special day. Diving lesson. Find a very special room and remember a very special day. Following that is won't wait forever. You were just trying to do right by me. Bro, what the fuck? Sure. Won't wait forever. You survive here? You were just trying to do right by me. The next story related trophy, Thalassophobia, we get for sinking into the gaping bowels of the North Sea. And fun fact, thalassophobia is an intense or irrational fear of a deep body of water exactly like the North Sea. Oh. Thalassophobia. You sink into the gaping bowels of the North Sea. Treaty of Perth is another story related trophy which we get for spending some time back at home.
You'd have to think of something.
Treaty of
You're
Perth.
mad, do you, if you let the fairies
Never
take
seen
me?
water like that, spent some time back at home. The ending to this DLC has two endings, in which one of these two trophies are earned depending on the ending chosen. I ended up letting go, which earned me the gasping and grasping trophy, which you get for grasping. Play the game by finding what you saw but then forcing your way back to the pain. Since completing the game, I still had another staggering 13 trophies to collect. A huge time-saving feature the devs recently added was the ability to chapter select, which means no more having to replay the story and having to wait to get to a certain area to do a specific trophy. So with 13 trophies to clean up, it was time to get to work. First trophy of the cleanup being Enshrouding, which you get for completing the game by sinking into the comforting embrace of what you sought all along. Basically, just never letting go of Brody.
Hold on.
How long? Enshrouding. Complete the game by sinking into the comforting embrace of what you sought all along. The next cleanup trophy being Enquiries, which we get for forgetting our training and ascending too high too fast. There we go. Enquiries. Forget your training and ascend too high too fast. Fuck yeah, baby! Lay me down to sleep is the third cleanup trophy of this grind, and I accidentally had my recording paused when this popped. I swear I clicked unpause, but it must not have registered. I thought I unpaused my recording. Fucking hell. Oh, whatever. Here's what it is. The next cleanup trophy, Lost with All Hands though, which we get for confirming for ourselves that both escape routes failed the crew of the BRD. I didn't have pause this time. Lost with All Hands. Confirm for yourself that both escape routes failed the crew of the BRD. So with all this exploring going on, we need to find mementos linked to the BRD crew, which leads into the next trophy, here to do a job. Find the significant number of mementos left by the BRD crew. Here to do a job. Find the significant number of mementos left by the BRD crew. Sat Dive certification is the next trophy part of the cleanup process, which is to thoroughly explore the seafloor. Sat Dive certification. Thoroughly explore the seafloor. After that trophy, I decided to go for this trophy, which is to complete the game in Scottish Gaelic, so I started a new game in Scottish Gaelic and cleaned up a few more trophies along the way. First one being Wrecked. Someday, some other saturation diver may come and find your remains. For this trophy, you need to be crushed by falling debris. Wrecked. Someday some other saturation diver may come and find your remains. Let's go. Chief Fetches at the Thrapple is the next trophy part of the new game cleanup. Run out of oxygen while off the umbilical. The guide I was following for this said the time to drown wouldn't be too long. Tell me why I was making Mary suffer for like 20 minutes before she finally went under. There we go, finally. She fetches at the throttle, won't run out of oxygen while off the umbilical. That took way longer than it should have, but it's done. The next trophy part of the cleanup
Christ, I need a smoke.
we get for finding Finley's lighter as part of her memento. I think it's pretty cool there's a trophy specific to her item, like a homage thing, just like there's one for Kaz and Brody. Christ, I need to smoke. Finally found that lighter of hers. And then finally, after completing the game in Scottish Gaelic, I get this trophy. Scottish people, are you okay? There we go. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I have no idea. After finishing the game for a second time, I still had another 4 trophies to get, including the Platinum Trophy. First one being Sat Dive Mastery, we need to thoroughly explore the Trench Valley. There we go, Sat Dive Mastery, thoroughly explore the Trench Valley. Then the second trophy being Cenotaph, which we get for finding all the human remains from the BRD crew that we can. There we go, Cenotaph. Found all the human remains from the BRD crew that you can. 1 more to go. And last but not least, a Wreck Upturn, which we get for finding all the mementos we can of the lost BRD crew. And trophy, a Wreck Upturned. Find all the mementos you can of the lost BRD crew. Roughneck! Achieved all trophies, baby! Bit of a short DLC, but I had fun. These guys sure know how to make a game. It was pretty fun revisiting this game after a year since I don't think anyone saw this coming. And it made me appreciate this masterpiece again. The phenomenal voice acting and just the tragic and heartfelt story overall. I hope you enjoyed coming along on this journey with me, but that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new for more content like this. And I will see you legends in the next one. Peace!